First of all, I can do this as well. So minus n squared plus m plus 1 equals 0. Everybody cool with that? You could draw a graph. If you drew a graph of this, it would be minus x squared plus x plus 1. Would you agree? Would you agree they're roughly the same thing? I can draw a graph of that, can't I? What type of graph would it be? U-shaped or N-shaped? How do I know it's N-shaped? Negative x squared. What about N? What shape would N be? It'd be U-shaped when you bring the 28 over to your side, okay? So here's what we want to do first. Take out the minus 1 and what's left over? M squared plus M. Okay. Queevin, what do we do with this?
You have the M squared.
M plus 1 squared, alright? Multiply that out, what do you get? What's M plus 1 multiplied by M plus 1?
M squared minus M plus.
I'm getting M squared plus 2M plus 1. Yes?
Not even minus, or sorry,
Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. That's, oh, I'm totally wrong. I'm wrong on 2 accounts, not even 1 but 2 accounts. That's a minus M, isn't it? And then we halve it, don't we? So M minus 2 squared. Sorry, my fault, Chatty. So, sorry, Queevin, M minus 2 by M minus 2, M minus a half by M minus a half.
M squared.
Yeah.
Plus, minus M.
Yeah.
Plus 4.
Right. Okay, what now?
Multiply out.
And once when you multiply it out?
Yeah, minus M squared.
Yeah. 1
minus quarter plus 3.
Now, nearly. I want a plus 1, but I have a minus 1/4, so what do I need to do? So if that's 1 on the right, and I'm at minus 1/4 on the left.
Plus 5 quarters.
Yeah, exactly, isn't it? There's 5 quarters in the distance. 1/4 to the right to get you to 0, and then another 1 to get you all the way there. So it's going to be plus 5 quarters. Now what's my answer? Anyway, what's my answer then? Minus 1 into? Yeah. Plus 5 over 4. Everybody cool with that? Alright, I'm going to put a twist on this question. Here's the twist I'm going to put on it. The twist I'm going to put on this question is, I'm going to change this question into this. Here's a function. Does everybody see it's exactly the same thing, except instead of m I have x. And does everybody see that the answer would look something like this? Oh, sorry, squared. Okay, everybody cool with that? Now, if I put this in the calculator, and I was to draw it out, I go to mode, table function, I'd do minus x squared, sorry, minus x squared plus x plus 1, alright? And then I could start at, let's say, minus 10 to plus 10. And you all know, you guys have drawn graphs before, haven't you? And you draw that graph. Is that okay? Now, here's the interesting part, or the whole point of the question is this. Can somebody call me out the question for M? What was that question? The actual starting off equation.
minus M squared.
So minus x squared for me. So y equals minus x squared. Yeah, after that, Chatty? Sorry, plus x, yeah? Plus 1, yeah? Now, get this. Well, that's not it. That's your graph. So, if you were to draw out that equation, so this here, that's your actual graph. Okay. Yeah, come on. Alright. There it is there. Now, what I'm going to ask you is, that's not what I was looking for. There we go. Alright. Now, Is everybody happy that I drew out this graph here to the left, to the right? That graph there is now drawn here, yeah? Now, what you know is about its maximum point? What's the x value for its maximum point? A half. The x value is a half, and the y value? 1 1/4, which is 5/4. Yeah. So everybody see it's a half and a quarter, don't you? Now here's the deal. Your y value equals this. Now what can you guarantee about this number? What can you guarantee about the blue part? Always positive or always negative? Always positive or always negative? Always positive. And what happens when you multiply an always positive number by a negative number? Yeah. So it's either negative or 0. Does that make sense? And for it to be as large as possible, would you prefer it to be negative or 0? Which is bigger, 0 plus a positive number or a negative number plus a positive number? You want it to be 0. What x value causes it to be equal to 0? What x value take away a half would be 0? That's why you get x equals a half, and that's why it's a half there. And when you put x equal to a half, guess what happens? That turns into 0, and what's left over? 5/4, and that's why that's your maximum. Does that make sense? It's tough, right? I get that. It's tough, right? Now, once we did that, what we're going to do next is we're going to use the answer for n. And with the answer for n, there's lots of layers to these questions, alright? So the answer for n, we're going to bring the 28 over the other side. So Kamiska, what happens when I bring the 28 over the other side? Okay, perfect. Now, minus 28x, yeah, and then plus 49. Now, Kamiska, I'm going to draw this graph straight away just for the crack, okay? Can you tell me what equation we just had there a second ago? 4x squared, yeah, minus, plus, okay, right, see. Oh, that's interesting. What's the minimum value? What you reckon, 3.5? It's a minimum value. What is it a minimum value? Because it's U-shaped. What do we think? 3.5 for the x value, and what's the y value? 0. 3.5 and 0. Remember those numbers, because I think they're going to become significant in the seconds. Alright, what's our routine? Take out what? 4. And what are we getting left over with? Okay. You're about to see where your 3.5 comes from. What you do with the x squared minus 7x? What you get? X minus. You already know the 3.5 straight away, don't you? You already know that an x value of 3.5 is the minimum. Straight away. Okay? Next thing. Square that out. What happens when you square it out? We're pretty good at these at this stage. So what happens when you square that out? X squared minus 7x. But what's the last part? 3.5 by 3.5? Anybody? 12.25. Excellent. Okay? 12.25. And the answer, and that's plus 49, isn't it? Now here's the catch. Actually, wait, no 49 yet. Multiply it back out. What happens? 4x squared, yeah? Minus. And then what's 4 times 12.25? Oh, it actually works. It works perfect, doesn't it? So, would everybody be happy with this equation being enough? Would everybody be happy with that equation being enough? And then what does that mean then? What's the minimum value? This is guaranteed to be positive, so what's the smallest value it can be? For a minimum, what's the smallest value it can be, lads? 0. So to make it 0, you'll use 3.5. And when x equals 3.5, what's the y value? Y value is going to be 0. Alright, that's how you use these, okay? Now, for homework last night, you were asked to solve them, weren't you? You weren't asked to do that. You were actually asked to solve them. So you put this equal to 0, then what's next? Divide by 4, and what happens? Nothing. What do you do now? Square root both sides, what happens? And what's your answer? X equals 3.5. See the way you only got one answer instead of two? The fact that you got one answer only means it only touches the graph at 1 point. It doesn't go through the graph out the other side. If you got two answers, it would go through and out the other sides. Does that make sense? So, last one. Alright, I'll do, which one's harder, O or P? Surely O. Alright. Alright, now look at this really quickly. I'm going to draw minus 3x squared minus x plus 1 equals 0, okay? That's what I'm going to draw. We'll find out a lot from the diagram. Paddy, will you call out that diagram for me?
Minus 3x squared
Yeah.
minus x.
Yeah. First of all, N-shaped or U-shaped? N-shaped. How many values of t will you get? 1 or 2? Why is it 2? Hits the axis twice. Where is the maximum, do we think? I'm going to drag this out a bit more. It looks to be 0.2 something, doesn't it? See, the maximum is here, isn't it? So it's going to be in that range. I have to figure that out. I am sure yet. Maybe we'll drag it up a bit. I'll drag this axis up a bit. There we go. We're starting to get a bit of separation now. There we go. So where's the maximum? I think it's at about minus 1.8 or 1.9. And I think it's about 1. Wait. Go again. Keep stretching this. There we go. Yeah, it's about 1.09. And the maximum occurs at 0.18. So we'll verify that now in a second. Is that okay? I'm going to verify those numbers for you in a second. Now, let's do what we always do. What do we do with this? Take out minus 3. And what's left over? And plus what? Oh, yeah. Not 1/3 t. Divided by 3, didn't I? Okay. What do I need to do with that then? I need a half a third. What's half of a third? Okay. Now I'm going to have to do t plus 6 squared. So what's t plus 6 squared? What do we get? Plus t over 3, yeah. And then a 6 by a 6th. Yeah, that's an awkward number, right? That's an awkward number. Now, alright, we're on this, right? As I said, you're going to have to be good at these eventually. Lads, you're going to have to be good at these eventually, so you might as well learn this year, okay? Multiply it out, what you get? Minus. Yeah, then next one. Minus t, yeah. And after that. What's 3 times 1 over 36? Minus 1 over 12. Awesome. Does it come out exactly like we began with? We got that one, that one. They're all the same, but what's not the same? Where we want 1, they have 1 over 12. So what's the difference between minus 12 and 1? 1 on this one here and minus 12. Sorry, minus 12 would be in here. What's the difference from here to here? 13 over 12. But it's actually a plus 13 over 12 because you want to make it into plus 1. I think that answers our question. What's 13 over 12 in the calculator? 13 divided by 12? 1.08. And what did I say about the peak of my graph? 4 blocks is roughly 1.08. Right? And what's the x value? We said the x value is around 1.8 or minus 1.8 or 1.9. Let's find out. Alright. So we're going to bring it back to, yeah. Is that okay with you guys? That one there? Okay. Now, I'm going a bit more in depth than I should. Okay. You guys were just asked to solve the equation, weren't you? So what's solving the equation? Put it equal to 0, then what you do? Minus 13 over 12, yeah? And then we got minus 3 by t plus 1/6 squared. What next? Divided by minus 3, what do you get? Divide 13 over 12 by 3 and you get minus 13 over 36. Oh, the minuses cancel, by the way. So I get rid of both minuses. Now it's 13 over 36. What do I do to both sides? Square root them. T, what you say? So t plus a sixth is plus or minus 13 over 36. And what do I do with the sixth? What do I do with the sixth? Minus 1/6 plus or minus 13 over 36. Now get this. I need a calculator. Can somebody get both those answers in decimals for me, please? Just really quickly. One of them in decimals and the other one in decimals. Really quickly. What are the two numbers? 527. And the other one? What? 0.4. Yeah. Look at my diagram. Memorize those two numbers off. And look where my diagram hits the axis. Did you tell me 4.3, did you?
Yeah.
And the other answer was? That's not it. Is that minus 5.527 correct?
No, it's minus 7.6.
Thank you. See those two numbers? That's where my graph crossed the axis, here and here. Okay? Now, what's a sixth? What's minus 1/6 in fraction mode? Because if you look at my equation here, what makes it 0? What makes it a minimum? Oh, sorry, it's all the way up here. What will make that a minimum? T equals minus 1/6, which is point, and put 1/6 into the calculator. Sorry. Oh, it's so difficult. Closer to 1.7, isn't it? And where's 1.7 on this graph? Exactly at the peak. Minus 1.7 is at the peak. So that's how you know it works. Okay? Has to match the graph perfectly. Now, what I did there today, where I found the maximum and the minimum, can you guys try that now? For this one. Actually, wait a sec. Just do them in class, no homework. Those three there, okay? Give it a go.